Getting ready to wrap up another exciting week of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley here. It's Friday, followed by Saturday and Sunday. We call those weekends here at the Soleon Broadcasting. 19th day of July, 2024. I am Dan Kuntz. It's another very mild morning, 73 degrees. Breaking news, going to be hot today. Going to be even hotter tomorrow and hot on Sunday and hot on Monday. There's a heat advisory that's going on now until 11 o'clock tomorrow. Then the heat advisory becomes an excessive heat warning at 11 o'clock tomorrow, and that goes all the way through till 8 o'clock Monday night. And we have a fire weather watch. It is hot. This is one of the hottest, if not the hottest, July on record. I'm going to throw some stats your way when we get to the weather forecast and some of the other details about how exactly warm it has been. Hot is what it's been. Warm ain't strong enough a word, really. Your very warm weather forecast is coming up. Plus, we'll have the news. Sports is back to baseball. All-Star game break. All-Star break game. The All-Star break is over. The Mariners go back to work tonight. They're at home against the Astros, a team that's right behind them in the American League West. And the Wenatchee Apple Sox back in action as well. They got the Yakima Valley Pippins coming to town for 3 games. We will have tonight's game for you, by the way, right here on the NCAA Live channel if you don't want to go out in the heat. But there's a lot of shade at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. It's not like you're going to sit out there and get baked. But if you want to watch it in the comfort of your home in high definition television and monophonic sound, we'll have it for you tonight. And did you get your ballot yet? I got my ballot in the mail yesterday. I live here in town. So I'm ready to vote for the August 6th primary election. We're going to replay the interview we did on Tuesday with Skip Moore, the auditor of Chelan County, and Thad Duvall, the auditor of Douglas County. They're in charge of the elections. And it's important you be an informed voter and the things you need to be aware of from Skip and Thad in the back half of the program. The usual deal is the ballots are mailed out. A lot of people have already made up their mind. They've studied the candidates and the issues. They're going to vote this weekend, and they're going to put it right back in the drop box or stick it in the mail. We recommend the drop box, by the way. And then they get a big flood of initial ballots, and then it kind of trickles off for 10, 12 days, and then usually the weekend right before the August 6th primary when people finally realize we got to get to vote, then it picks back up again. It's an interesting phenomenon. Almost 2 minutes after the hour, let's do our tour around the Wenatchee Valley. There, of course, is our Wenatchee Heights camera with those darn bugs again floating around out there. Yeah, we are all baked out. We are in a significant drought. I'm going to show you a slide that's going to freak you out a little bit. We need rain, and there's no rain at all in the forecast. We're like 1.25 inches behind where we should be precipitation-wise for this time of the year. We need rain, and there's none. Let's head on up and say good morning to the Bavarian village of Leavenworth. Nice view there. Is that me, or is there still a little bit of snow way up there at the top of the Cascades up in the enchantments? Well, it's not unheard of course. It's ways up there elevation-wise. Thin air, colder air, the slopes that face to the north. You combine all those 3 things, you still got a little bit of snow hanging on. Not much, but a little bit of snow. Up to hazy Billy Goats as we look down over Pateros. Here's Alta Lake in the lower part of your screen. You can see the reflection of the sun on Alta Lake. You can make out Pateros and the Medhow and the Columbia, on off to Bridgeport and Brewster, and on up to Omak and Okanagan. You're going to be hot up there, and nobody's escaping the heat. And that little bit of haze still from the Pioneer Fire, which continues to burn about 30 miles up lake from Lake Chelan. The fire's got to go someplace. And let's go back to the Wenatchee Valley to our Badger Mountain camera. Looking out over the northern part of town where the Wenatchee enters into the Columbia. You can see the burn scar, of course, from the Balsam Roof Fire earlier in the month. Houses continue to climb up Sunny Slope towards Birch Mountain, and you can see Sleepy Hollow all the way out to Monitor. And again, snow way off into the distance. Spectacular view from our Badger Mountain camera. But the one thing that jumps out at you is how brown the earth is, because it's been hot and it's been dry. So 3 slides to show for you. First of all, heat advisory. Again, we are under a heat advisory. That's that little pink sliver thing on the east slopes of the Cascade. That heat advisory expires at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then that becomes an excessive heat warning for everybody starting at 11 tomorrow morning until 8 o'clock on Monday night. There's just no escaping the heat. It is going to be very, very hot, especially it looks like The hottest day, Sunday. These are some of the high temperatures we're expecting on Sunday, not just the Wenatchee Valley, but we thought we'd show this because it shows some of the other areas. Everybody is just going to be baking as this strong high pressure ridge is really going to start to amplify over the area. This has been one hot day after another since all the way back on July 5th. In fact, check this out. Yesterday's high, by the way, 99, and that's about where we're going to be today. Our average high temperature this month has been 96.3 degrees. That's our average high temperature. And the average temperature for this month, the average is you take your afternoon high and your overnight low, and then they average out to whatever it is each day. Our average temperature so far this month has been 82.2 degrees. That is 8.8 degrees above normal. This is an unprecedented heat wave. And I mentioned about the drought. Check this out. This is what really, you're going to go, whoa, is it really that bad? It's really that bad. The darker the red, the more severe the drought. And as you can see, right in the north central Washington area out of the Columbia Basin, this is the percentage of normal precipitation, as I mentioned already. This is from the period of March 20th all the way to just a couple of days ago. We need rain. I mean, this is just scorching with absolutely no precipitation at all in the forecast. Where they had that freak thunderstorm out of the Columbia Basin a couple of days ago on Wednesday, and that was about it. And even then, it was isolated. Some places got a little bit of rain, and other places got nothing at all. We are in a drought. So, from the National Weather Service, once again, we have a heat advisory, which is followed by an excessive heat warning. Also, a fire weather watch is going on. Can't forget about that. About 100 today, just about what we did yesterday. Lots of sunshine, no cloud cover, just hot. 100 for the afternoon high, 67 for the overnight low, which is a little cooler than what we've been having. But then we get right back at it again to right around 104. Now, the record high for Saturday, July 20th. July 20th's record high is 105. That was set back in 1979. We'll be close to that. A tad hazy on Saturday night, they tell us. Overnight low of about 70. And then we're going to be close to a record high. Well, I think we're going to have a record high. The record high on Sunday, July 21st, is 105 degrees. That was set back on July 21st, 1994. I remember that summer. We're expected to be 4 or 5 degrees warmer than that even. One more day in the heat furnace on Monday, and then we finally get a little bit of relief as that big ridge of high pressure finally slides away from our area. We're only going to be in the 90s on Tuesday and Wednesday. I was born and raised here, and it's about as hot as a July I can remember. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Friday edition on the NCW Life channel.
Enjoy the sounds of summer from your very own pool and spa. Blue Lagoon is now scheduling pool installations for this summer. Call today to schedule a free consultation for a custom San Juan fiberglass pool. And let the experts at Blue Lagoon handle the construction, installation, and regular maintenance. Turn your boring backyard into vacation paradise this summer with industry-leading San Juan pool. No need to go off the deep end. Relax knowing you're in great hands with Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa.
The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
I want you to know where I stand on abortion. As governor, I will not change Washington law on this issue because I do not believe any politician, regardless of personal belief, has the right to make that decision for any woman. My opponent, Bob Ferguson, is trying to spread fear by saying things that I don't believe and will not do.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
Lots of sunshine, 75 degrees, 100 degrees today, 104, 108 or so on Sunday, triple digits Monday, before we finally get a little bit of break from this unprecedented heat wave. It's about 11 minutes after the hour. Isaac Heckman, the Wenatchee faith leader who was convicted of felony assault, was sentenced to 14 months in prison. On Wednesday, a jury found the 50-year-old Heckman guilty on 2 of 3 counts of second-degree assault in late June for beating and strangling his former domestic partner. Heckman is the lead pastor of the Assembly of Called Out Believers. That's a ministry that combines elements of Judaism with evangelical Christianity. The jury deadlocked on a third assault count that alleged Heckman threatened the woman with a shotgun. Chelan Superior Court Judge Travis Brandt also sentenced Heckman to 18 months of community custody after his prison sentence is taken care of, and Heckman cannot have contact with his former partner for 10 years. Here's an update on the Pioneer Fire. It's now about 26,000 acres burned. Firefighters working to protect the Stehekin community. An update from the Northwest Complex Incident Management Team said firefighters completed structural assessments near Stehekin. They did that Wednesday. At the same time, they expanded and strengthened hand line and hose lays near the Stehekin Valley Ranch. Fire officials say the extensive preparation has readied firefighters to protect the Stehekin community. Level 3 evacuations, which is Get Out Now, they were extended up lake to Hazard Creek on Tuesday. Stehekin is still under a Level 1 alert. The fire, which has been burning since June 8th, remains 14% contained. A motorist in Grant County had to be rescued Wednesday night after a thunderstorm forced their vehicle off the road and into a power pole. Grant County Fire District 7 said the accident happened about 10:20 in the evening on Wednesday on Stratford Road and Road 20, that's east of Soap Lake. Several areas of Grant County were hit with brief but rather intense thunderstorms on Wednesday evening. The fire district said the unidentified driver's vehicle left the roadway and struck the power pole, and the power lines came to rest on the vehicle. The driver was uninjured, also the sole occupant of the car, but they had to sit there and wait for the Grant PUD to depower the lines before being assisted from the vehicle. The state has updated the season's fishing rules for Lake Wenatchee after projecting a surplus of harvestable sockeye salmon. The Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife's analysis of current sockeye passages at Tumwater Dam and the Columbia River dams have projected well above the goal. The goal is 23,000 harvestable sockeye at Lake Wenatchee. They are well above that. And as a result, the sockeye fishery will begin, of course, an hour before sunrise on Monday, and they will continue until an hour after sunset on August 31st. Fishing rules have also been updated to include a daily limit of 4 sockeye with a minimum size of 12 inches. We'll give you tips on how to catch these babies when we get to sports. Animal control officials rounded up some wayward goats on Wednesday in East Wenatchee. Wenatchee Valley Humane Society's field service crews responded to a call from a citizen who said there's a bunch of goats running loose near Grant Road up by Andy's Fun Farm. Well, the crews successfully corralled the goats and brought them back to the shelter. So if you or somebody you know is missing their goats, they're at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. And finally, as I mentioned at the top of the show, by now you probably got your ballot, or you will by the time the weekend rolls around, so it's time to vote. From now up until the first week in August, we're going to be looking at the races for county commissioners in both Chelan and Douglas County, whose rare open seats have opened up on the board that govern those counties. The first interview features the only independent candidate running for one of those positions is Paula Lamanna. She's a rock on and fitness expert who says she wants to serve Douglas County using what she calls heart stance to bring the different sides together.
I moved here when I was 12, graduated Eastmont, did my degree extension through WSU at Wenatchee Valley College for Agricultural Sciences and Business Management. Let's see, I've done all the things. I was a real estate agent, and I volunteered with at-risk youth through Solomon's Porch, and became a foster parent from that experience, and fostered for 7 years. And yeah, I know the Valley, and I love the Valley, and I'm excited to help the Valley grow and thrive.
Professionally, what do you do right now?
Right now, I run a business for people with neurological disorders. I think that we can do better with infrastructure and use forward thinking, and engineers are now using AI to help develop the possibilities of expansion and growth, and they can be built upon for years and years to come. I love the youth in our community, and of course, being a foster parent, I see it differently because I've been in the trenches with kids who can't afford to play sports and can't afford summer camps. And I just think that Chelan County has all this accessibility, and sometimes there's enough kids that they can't take the overflow from Douglas. And I think we can bring it. We're Douglas County, we can do anything.
You're one of 5 candidates for this position. Everybody else is running as a Republican. You were listed as having no party preference. You're running as an independent. Why was that important to you to run as an independent?
I was raised by one of each. My mother is very, very conservative, and my father is a Democrat. And I'm a gun-carrying hippie. I feel like I have the best of both worlds, and that the two can find a balance. If I come from a family that has both and we don't fight over it, I truly believe there's a way to see a heart stance and just connection over finding what we disagree on.
Does it concern you that you might not have the support of a local party organization by not declaring for one party or another?
No, because I have friends, very, very close friends and family on both sides. And again, I think it comes down to heart stance, and they know that there's certain things I vote different ways on, but shoot, I can't say bad about either side because I truly love in my heart so many people on both sides. And we don't argue, and we don't really get into heated conversations. So that's why I feel that I agree with both sides on so many things. I really don't feel like it's a contradiction.
Can you think of issues that really caught your attention that you think are crying out to be addressed in Douglas County?
I think the voice of the people and allocating of funds and all of that stuff, I think those are things I would probably look a little deeper into. And I'm currently getting my certification in project management. I'm 3/4 of the way through it. And commissioner is hugely a project management position, and I think that there's ways to socially, economically, financially, and culturally see how everything will benefit the community, or if it is not, let's not utilize funds in that area or put the money into building this. You know, there's a way to find out and really do the math and figure out the answers.
And that is the news on this Friday. Well, we got one more newscast to fill your head full of the information you need before we head into a hot weekend. The news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. 5, 6, and 10 on television. I know, you have a smart TV or you use the internet or whatever to consume your television, and that's all fine by us because we got that covered as well. Our news will be up and running right around 4:30 or 5. On our homepage, ncwlife.com, our Facebook page, our YouTube page, wherever the heck we can post it and get away with it. And if you don't have our app yet, you can do it right now. Pick up your smartphone and QR away, and you're in business. You'll have our app right there on your phone. And if something out there you think warrants our attention, you send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Baseball is back. I missed it. Sports in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I moved here 6 years ago. The manager here asked me what I like to do, and I told him that I like to play games, I like to play cards. And he said, "Boy, have I got a woman for you to meet." And he introduced me to her, And we walked down the hall, and I took her hand, and we've never let go of each other.
Life is so good when you're happy, and I'm very happy at Prestige.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. So if something happens to your tire on the road, we'll fix it, or we'll replace it, no questions asked. Other places make you pay extra for that kind of protection, but at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires, because more warranty means less worry, and nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from Les.
To name yourself after the highest peak in North America? Maybe that's audacity. But towering above is exactly what the first ever all-electric GMC Sierra EV Denali Edition 1 is built to do. With 754 horsepower and up to a GM estimated 400 miles of range, it is the Denali of EVs. The Sierra EV Denali.
Hey there folks, Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to experience Blueberry Hills. Of course, the food is fabulous, like our cheese blintz, our famous French dip, our legendary Eggs Benedict, and unforgettable burgers. But we're more than just great food. People come from all over the world to experience what's been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
Sports at 22 minutes after the hour. It's Seattle and Houston. Seattle specifically hosting Houston at T-Mobile Park. The first of 3 games is a battle for first place in the American League West. Back on June 18th, just about a month ago, the Mariners had a 10-game lead in the division. That lead is now down to just 1 over the Astros and 5 over the Rangers. Mariners are 52-46. The Astros are 50-46. Tonight's game starts at 7:10. You can watch it on Root Sports Northwest. The local 9, the Wenatchee Apple Sox, are back in action after the West Coast League's All-Star break. Yakima Valley Pippins are in town for the first of 3 games at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. We will be there tonight. Eric Granstrom and our good buddy Brandon Schmitten on the call. Pre-game is set for 6:30. Where are we in the standings? Well, on the West Coast League's Northern Division, you notice Wenatchee has an asterisk next to it because they've already clinched the first half championship. They know they're going to the playoffs, but Bellingham, Wenatchee, and Kelowna are in a 3-way tie for first place in the North. Second half standings, of course, we're showing you there, but I mean, look at them. 4-5, 4-4, or 5-4. Everybody's right next to each other in the WCL North. The South, there's a little bit more separation because Ridgefield hasn't lost a game in the second half of the campaign. They're 9-0. Right behind is Portland at 9-1, followed by Bend and Corvallis. Corvallis also has the asterisk because they have also clinched the playoffs by winning the WCL's South's first half standings. As we mentioned in the news, a record sockeye run will mean an early opening for fishing at Lake Wenatchee. As of Wednesday, nearly 48,000 sockeye have been counted at the Tumwater Dam. The goal is 23,000, so yeah, they got past that and then some. The Director of Sales and Marketing for Max Lure, Bobby Loomis, gave our very own Eric Granstrom some tips on how to fish for salmon when it opens 1 hour before sunrise on Monday morning.
You can't fish bait up there. You really don't need to fish bait, truthfully. You know, it works quite well. A couple red hooks, smile blade, some beads, big dodger. You know, you're on the game, man.
It seems that the majority of the boats, if you're on a boat and you're lucky enough to have a boat to fish it, head to the upper end of the lake. Is that where you like to go, or are there other places that we could try where we're not going to find so many boats?
There's actually a lot of places to go. Everybody heads up to the other end because those fish go up and stack up there. That's where they end up basically staging and heading up the White River. But there's a lot of places in the lake, all you got to do is just look around a little bit. You know, they're going to hug the edges predominantly. That's why you see most everybody fishing around, you know, peripherally around the edges. They're not out in the center of the lake. But, you know, you just look around a little bit because you'll find places where current seams, some type of edge, you know, something, an underwater rock or something that comes out that will harbor fish. All you got to do is believe your electronics.
Okay, so if you're going fishing Monday morning, Lake Wenatchee. What are you putting on?
I'm going to put on a Double D Dodger with has a what we would call a UV glow tape on the outside of it. And I'm going to fish with a UV glow Smile Blade or possibly a lemon lime UV. I'll have both of them on with rods out there, but that and a few beads. That's what I'm going to start out with.
It is a 4-fish limit for sockeye. It begins 1 hour before sunrise on Monday morning. It's scheduled to last until the end of August. Anglers are reminded that there are some significant parking restrictions at Lake Wenatchee State Park. That's where I get a guy to put the boat in the water. Limited availability. We'll have more, by the way, on the opener. Go to our website, ncwlife.com, and those are just some of the games that people are playing on this 19th day of July. Among the holidays you can celebrate today if you choose to, it is Martyrs Day in Myanmar. I suppose I have a few of those. It's Stick Out Your Tongue Day. Not going to do that because it's a faux pas on television. No, we're going to combine a little rum, a little lime juice, a little sugar, and lots of ice and suck down a good old daiquiri. It's National Daiquiri Day today. The daiquiri was created in 1898 by Jennings Cox down in Cuba. He was an American mining engineer who was making a bunch of money right after the Spanish-American War. And he named the daiquiri after the local mining village of Daiquiri, Cuba, which is where he was stationed at. And after work, he would go to the Venus Bar and suck down some daiquiris. Also, the miners who worked for him loved it as well. And obviously, the popularity spread from there. Of course, now daiquiris, basically the only limit you have for what kind of daiquiri is basically how many different berries or fruit you can think of. They can all be made into a daiquiri, from strawberries that you see there to banana to lime to orange daiquiris or whatever you want to do. It's Ernest Hemingway who came up with the idea of the frozen daiquiri. He wasn't unfamiliar with the frozen daiquiri. He had the bartender put everything together like a regular daiquiri and then ran the whole concoction through a blender filled with ice. And there you have the frozen daiquiri. It's a summertime staple, but none for me. I'm working. After the ball game tonight, I might have a daiquiri or two. It's 27 minutes after the hour today in history. Speaking of baseball, it's 1961. The American League expanded. They went from 8 teams to 10 teams in 1961, and so they had a longer season. They had 162 games in the American League in 1961, but of course, in the American League in 1961, Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle were hitting baseballs over the walls at an alarming rate. And Ford Frick, who was an old friend of Babe Ruth's, who also happened to be the commissioner of baseball, unilaterally says that if somebody is going to break Babe Ruth's single-season home run record of 60, they have to do it in 154 games, or the record will carry a distinctive mark. Now, only Babe Ruth's record. No other record that was set in a 154-game season would be affected. Just Babe Ruth's record. Roger Maris, who was well ahead of Babe's pace at this point, said, "A season's a season." It was the sports writer Dick Young, not the nicest guy in the world, who suggested an asterisk. It's later claimed to be Frick's idea. No such asterisk was ever used, by the way. Roger Maris broke the record in 61. He did it legitimately. Why Ford Frick did this, I don't know. There are a lot of people in 1961 who remembered Babe Ruth or played with Babe Ruth and didn't want to see his record broken. Well, it's been broken more than once since then. Get over it. July 19th, 1969, 55 years ago today, Senator Ted Kennedy crashes his car into a tidal pond at Chappaquiddick Island in Massachusetts. The car ended up on its roof in about 20 feet of water. He was able to get out. His passenger, Mary Jo Kopechne, did not. She drowned. It happened at about 11:30 in the evening. Her body was found by divers at 9 o'clock the next morning in the back of the car. Kennedy did not report the accident until 10 o'clock. And of course, the Chappaquiddick incident became national news, and basically it all but killed Ted Kennedy's chances of becoming president of the United States. He didn't run in 72. He could have probably run and won in 76. He didn't. He ran in 1980 and didn't, and he never did become president. A lot of people say because of the strange circumstances behind the Chappaquiddick incident 55 years ago today. And 35 years ago today, United Airlines Flight 232 crashes in Sioux City, Iowa. The most amazing thing of all is a whole bunch of people survived. First of all, here's a contemporary news report.
Safety investigators began surveying the wreckage strewn around the Sioux City airport, but in this case they have pictures of the actual crash to study. The DC-10 struck the runway at an angle, shearing off the right wing. It bounced along before flipping over twice, breaking into several large pieces. Aviation sources say the tragic sequence started 30 minutes earlier when the engine in the tail of the jet suffered a catastrophic failure. In essence, the engine exploded, spewing out metal parts. These sheared off the tail cone of the plane, which landed in a field in Storm Lake, 70 miles from the crash site. It's believed the flying engine pieces also caused a complete failure of the hydraulic systems by cutting the hydraulic lines near the tail. This made the jumbo jet extremely difficult to control. The plane trailed wreckage for miles. First, the pilot got permission to land on a 2-lane highway near Cushing, Iowa, but he decided not to attempt it. Instead, he chose to make an emergency landing at Sioux City Airport, now 60 miles away. The pilot appeared to maintain control until just before landing. Then the right wing dipped. The jet struck the runway, shearing off that wing and cartwheeling until the jet broke into pieces. Investigators are amazed so many survived.
The wreckage is bad, and I think we can be deeply thankful that those that survived did survive, not at all detracting from the tragic loss of those who lost their lives.
Experts believe the reasons there were so many survivors were that the wing containing the fuel tanks broke off, reducing the fire. The multiple impacts as the plane careened along the runway dissipated the deadly force of any single impact. And perhaps most important, the plane broke open so passengers could easily escape.
A remarkable story, in addition to what you just heard about how so many people survived this unbelievable accident. Other factors played a role. For one thing, it happened in the middle of the day in good weather. That helped. It also happened to occur, the accident. They knew the plane was going to land and have a rough landing at that, but it happened right in the middle of a shift change at both the Regional Trauma Center and the Regional Burn Center in Sioux City, Iowa. So there was twice as many medical personnel on hand than would normally be. And perhaps the greatest thing of all is that the accident occurred when the Iowa National Guard was on duty at the airport just by coincidence. So they had 285 trained personnel to help with the triage and evacuation. A lot of luck happened there, but also 111 people lost their lives. That happened on this date in 1989. And finally, a heavenly birthday and a living birthday. Robert Todd Lincoln Beckworth. That's him. By profession, he was a farmer. He was a farmer by profession. What he really did to earn his money is he toured America because he was the great-grandson of Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln, of course, and his wife, Mary, had only one child survive to adulthood. That was her oldest child, Robert Todd Lincoln. Robert Todd Lincoln and his wife, Mary, had 3 children. Their daughter, Jessica, was the only one of those 3 to have kids of her own. She had 2 kids, Mary, who died without giving birth to a child in 1975, and that guy, Robert Todd Lincoln Beckworth, who died on Christmas Eve 1985, again without fathering any children. And when Robert Todd Lincoln Beckworth died in 1985, with him, the Lincoln family tree came to an end. And happy 102nd birthday to Rachel Robinson, the widow of the legendary Jackie Robinson, and an accomplished woman in her own right. She was a registered nurse. She was a professor at Yale University, the director of nursing at the Connecticut Mental Health Center, and a classy lady all the way around. Rachel Robinson is 102 years old today. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. My guess is they've been pretty busy I haven't heard of too many air conditioners breaking down. My guess is if you had Alpine Air come check out your air conditioning back in May before it got hot, you're doing just fine. But if it does get cattywampus, give Alpine Air a call. They'll take care of you. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. And our friends at Prestige Senior Living at Colonial Vista, their main campus in Wenatchee and their satellite campus in East Wenatchee. Mike McNaughty talks technical stuff. Yes, it's TV talk, like how a teleprompter works. That's coming up with Mike McNaughty, and then Skip Moore, Chelan County Auditor, Thad Duvall, Douglas County Auditor, will be joining me. The August 6th primary election season is underway. They're coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCB Life channel.
Hi folks, welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chase on the other side. You can lift this up. Time warranty.
Great, I want that one. I like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, located in East Wenatchee, offers terrific views and challenging play for golfers at every skill level. From the golf course to the grill, you don't need to be a member to dine in style and play golf too. Highlander's well-groomed fairways and greens keep it difficult, yet friendly for your regular rounds of golf or a new destination for you and your out-of-town friends. Contact the Highlander Pro Shop today to schedule your tee time, outing, or tournament. Open 7 days a week, where everyone is welcome to play and eat.
Most of us are in touch with the internet in one way or another all day long. A fast, secure connection matters. It keeps us entertained, informed, and in touch. Local cares about your connection. We know strong, reliable internet with your choice of speed makes life better. If you need fast, reliable internet, or maybe an upgrade, or you just have questions, connect with us by visiting localtel.com or call 509-888-8888 today.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, you may be asking what this thing is here, okay? Well, what it is, because I keep punching it, it runs the teleprompter, okay? Now, I'm not the president. I'm not anybody else real important. They don't have the teleprompter set up so that it runs at the right speed for me, so I have to keep punching this button to make it stop and go. So if you're wondering what I'm doing with this, that's what I'm doing. And if you're thinking, boy, that McNaughty really isn't all that bright at all, well, you can join the club. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty. Hey, that's my opinion.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect. No matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Here's your coffee, that'll be $5.
Thanks.
Oh, it's only $5.
Oh, I like paying double.
Why?
I've always paid more.
You wouldn't pay double for coffee. So don't pay double on your heating bill. Cut your heating bills by up to half when you switch to a heat pump or ductless mini split and get cash back from Chelan PUD plus federal tax credits. Learn more at chelanpud.org/save.
Now there are even more reasons to meet at the Pybus Market. Outdoor dining and tastings, the fabulous Farmers Market, Saturday artisans on the concourse, and your favorites all week long. No matter the reason, it's always time to meet at the Pybus Market. Pybus Market, where community meets.
By the end of this week, you will have your primary election ballot in your hand, courtesy of the two gentlemen to my immediate left. To my immediate left is the Chelan County Auditor, the handsome and talented Skip Moore, and to his left, the even more handsome and quite frankly more talented Thad Duvall, his counterpart from Douglas County. It is primary election season, gentlemen. Time to change the sheets, and for the folks who live in Douglas and Chelan County, a lot of choices to be made in this a presidential election year. All of the state offices are up for grabs in this election cycle. The entire state legislature from the House of Representatives is up for grabs. The federal legislature, the Congress is up for grabs. A lot of decisions to be made for the voters. And I know both of you guys believe an informed voter is the way to go. Skip, I'll let you start. You ready for this week, buddy?
Yeah, we're ready. The ballots, folks should have them by Friday. Certainly, if you don't, contact either my office if you're in Chelan County or Thad's, if you don't have it by the end of the week, so we can get one coming. And voter pamphlets, our voter pamphlets have already gone out. I'm not sure where I don't get Thad's. He doesn't mail one to me. So those are out there as well. So it's that time.
Both of the websites for the Chelan and Douglas County auditors, they have links, direct links to not only the candidate statements, but candidate websites and Facebook pages and things like that, so you can get to know the candidates as well as you want to before you vote. And you have to vote by August 6th. And let's get this buggity-boo out of the way. You guys were very vocal about your opposition of the United States Postal Service moving a vast majority of the sorting operations away from north central Washington and off to Spokane, for those folks who mail their ballots and don't use their drop boxes. I suppose that concern remains and evident today?
Well, it is. It's the process has just added more hands. It seems like more hands involved. It's just they're handling the ballot or the mail more times, moving it around the state, postmarks, moving it back. That just takes time. And in this process, vote by mail, if you're putting your ballot in the mail, it's a postmark. Everything is about the postmark. So getting it in early, better chance of getting that effective, on-time postmark. That's our main concern, because we just don't know how long it's going to take.
Well, Thad, maybe this is a better question for Thad, because you have a lot of smaller communities. You have about half the registered voters in Douglas County as you do in Chelan County. What's the breakdown of percentages of the people who mail their ballots? They'll have a postmark on it. It goes through the system and eventually ends up in Waterville, as opposed to those people who use the regional drop boxes all over Douglas County. What's the percentage breakdown there?
It's fairly evenly split. I think we're seeing more and more people using the drop boxes, though. And so we've noticed it probably takes an extra day or two with the added process for your ballot to come in. So we would like to see people, especially within the last week of the election, to use the drop boxes, because we don't want anybody, disenfranchised because they didn't get the right postmark. And both Skip and I, we send out teams, 2 people, each ballot box, in dual custody, and it's trackable all the way back to our office. And that's a sure way to get that ballot back in on time. So use the drop box if you're within the last week of the election. Do you agree with that, Skip?
I 100%. If you can get it into the drop box, your ballot has been accepted, because we lock those things precisely at 8 o'clock on election night. So if it's open and you get it in there, it's timely. If you place a ballot in your mailbox the day prior to election day or election day, it may not get the appropriate postmark, which case we won't be able to count it.
For many, many years, Thad's office had to deal with something that now Skip has to deal with, and that is multiple jurisdictions, both at the federal and state level, in Douglas County. You've been dealing with this for years, Thad. If anybody's an expert in this, it's you. Parsons of Douglas County would be in a school district that wasn't actually, they shared jurisdictions to the north. You always had Chelan County pretty much to yourself. Didn't have to worry about that.
It was a wonderful thing.
Now we look at least from the state perspective, we got the 12th district, we got the 7th district, we got the 13th district, we got the 8th district, and looking at the map of where one district ends and another begins has got to be a nightmare for you.
It makes no sense.
Talk about this. Talk about the issues that you're going to have to deal with, knowing that Wenatchee in and of itself is pretty much cut in half.
And that's just it. We did have the luxury up until just recently of being one county, one legislative, congressional, all those matched up. Well, there was a little bit this last redistricting. Somebody didn't like the formula. So at the last minute, we had a change, which was unique in that suddenly we had 3 precincts in Wenatchee go to the 7th, which seems to not make any sense. I know they're balancing populations, and when they move a line one place, it causes a line someplace else to move. So, and these concerns about how the redistricting was done, ultimately ended up we lost 3 precincts in city of Wenatchee along the river, have now moved across the river as far as their representation. It's just different.
Yeah, it is. Well, it causes us to work really closely with our GIS department. And in this case, as far as I'm aware, in Chelan and Douglas counties, the favor they did us is when they did the splits, they did it along precinct lines. So that means we're moving whole precincts in or out of one legislative district into another. So since those precincts were already established, that really helped us. But we work closely with our GIS departments to make sure that that information is accurate and we're sending the right ballot to the right person. That's the key. The right ballot style to the right person.
Perfect example is right behind us by about 10 feet is Yakima Street, right in the heart of downtown Wenatchee. On the north side of Yakima, you're in one legislative district. On the south side where we're sitting, you're in another legislative district. Right. That's just, there's kind of no real way to avoid that one way or the other. Eventually, somebody across the street is not going to be in the same district as you are if you look hard enough, right?
Oh, and it will. You'll see the way various local jurisdictions fall out is unique. You've got school districts, you've got hospital districts, you've got all these different districts. All their lines intersect. And we, as elections officials, we spend our time trying to find out if I put a rope around this little chunk of land, what districts are affected. And then I have to make sure that people in that area get the specific ballot, because obviously I can't be allowing somebody to vote on something in Douglas County and Chelan County and vice versa, as well as intra-county. All the lines make it at times very difficult to figure out, and Thad was right, the biggest joy in all this was when they changed the lines, it stayed at precinct lines. So I didn't have to redraw my maps, because had they gone across precinct lines, we would have had to redraw all the, a large portion of the ones in Wenatchee would have had to have been redrawn.
There's still, I believe the judge was down in Yakima Valley who redrew the precinct lines. And we're going to stuck with it for the primary and the general election in this year, 2024. But the legal challenge is still out there, right? That's being appealed.
There is an appeal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And historically, the courts have done pretty good about not jumping in the middle of the cycle. I'm hoping that stays the case. I don't know at this point, once we get these ballots in the mail, if they can really change them. So I think we're safe for a while, at least this cycle.
Yeah, through the election cycle this year. But then that appeal could go on, and next year we could have another change. We just don't know at this point.
So we had one district up until 2022, and then for one brief time we had another map, and now we have another map. So we're like our third map since 2020. It's cattywampus indeed. Thad, Douglas County Commissioner 2, the incumbent Kyle Steinberg, is not running for re-election. 5 people are running for that seat. Only those people who live in that district will find their name on their ballot. And you always get phone calls. Hey, how come I don't have this on my ballot? And you have to tell them, unless you live in District 2 and you're a registered voter, you're not voting.
Yes, that's correct. And that is a common misconception, because we've got a pretty good sign campaign going on in Douglas County. People can see the commissioners that have put up signs. And so they do expect to be able to vote. But yes, it's just Commissioner District 2 that will vote on those 5 candidates to bring those down to 2 to go on to the general election.
What is the thought process behind that in the primary, that you have to physically live in that district in order to vote in that district?
Well, that's just the way the commissioner districts have been set up from as long as I've been in office. And the idea is the person that represents you in your district you should be able to nominate them and to go to the general election. However, in the general, it does change, and the whole county votes on the top 2. So it's a nominating process coming out of the primary election to winnow it down to 2. And then after that, the whole county votes on the final 2 candidates in the general.
Skip, you have something similar to that in Chelan County District number 3. Tiffany Gehring not running for re-election, and so you have 4 people fighting for 2 seats, and again, only those people in District 3, which is basically the northern part of the county, will be voting in that.
We got 4, and just they will, and it comes back to, as Thad was saying, though they're a commissioner for the entire county, that district should have a rep. It wouldn't, you know, it's hard to explain to somebody living in Chelan why they would be having their commissioner come from Leavenworth, let's say. So this way, at least that geographic area is representative. The commissioner or the candidate has to live within the district. So that's what makes a big deal.
Even though only those people who live in those respective districts can vote in the primary, does it still drive up turnout, you think, a little bit? Does it help when you have that many people vying for 1 seat, or whittling it down to 2 anyway?
I don't know. That is a real good question. I've not run the numbers on that.
Yeah.
I do think the more people more offices that actually have races, we do better for turnout, as opposed to when we have a lot of races that are single filers. So
I think that the turnout is driven by how much activity is taking place. So if the 5 candidates in Douglas County are really diligent, they've got a good sign campaign, they do a mailer, they go door to door, the more attention they can bring to the race, normally they'll get more people to vote. So we'll see. It just depends on how they can work things up, I guess, to get the attention of the voters.
And I think you'll see the statewide races also make it help as well. Though we've got 28
for governor, 11 running for Maria Cantwell's Senate seat. There's a lot of choices to be made here.
So that, I mean, something would tell me, 28 different flavors for governor. There's a choice there that somebody can make. So they will, maybe that in itself will drive turnout. It'll be interesting to see.
How often, and I know we've talked about this a couple of times, we got to cut these guys loose because Thad's got to head on over to Olympia. He's got some business to take care of. How often does a Douglas County ballot you put in the drop box ends up in Skip's Dropbox ballot by mistake? Hey, I live in East Wenatchee, but I work in Wenatchee, and I got my ballot. I'll just throw it in the library Dropbox. Oh, crap.
It
happens all the time.
That's one of the things that I really like about Washington State, is we bend over backwards to make sure you can get a ballot in Washington State. So you can actually go into any courthouse in the state and have them print off your ballot. And all the counties are very cooperative. So yes, that does happen. And we just simply put those in the mail and send them to Skip the next day and get them to him right away. He does the same for us. We get ballots from other counties as well. They might be on vacation. Oh, I've got my ballot, and they'll hit Skip's box on the way up to Lake Chelan or something. And so we're mailing it to King County or wherever. But we make sure it gets to the right.
The 39 auditors in this state they're good. They're really good. Their staff is good. They are professionals at what they do. You're more than welcome to come by during the election season, stand on the other side of the plexiglass and watch them do the work that they do. This is your election. There's only 2 times in your entire life where the government asks for your opinion and it counts. One is jury duty and the other is elections, folks. It's as simple as that. We'll cut you loose with it. Go ahead, Thad.
One more thing.
Please.
Now, you mentioned earlier the voters' pamphlets that we're mailing out. That's a local voters' pamphlet that we have crafted, and we have the local issues in it. So it's important to know that in the pamphlet that we're mailing out, it just has the local issues. And if you want the state issues, you do need to go on the website and connect to that information.
One thing we should mention, of course, the Wenatchee Valley Fire Department wants to change the way that they are funded. This is, although it's a primary election, this is it. This decision will be made on August 6th. So, and everybody who lives within the jurisdictional boundaries of the Wenatchee Valley Fire Department will be voting on how they want to change the way that they are funded. That will be a final vote on August 6th. Skip, last time on a presidential year, 2020, in the primary, 60% turnout for Chelan, and you are predicting, I always have to do this to you.
Oh yeah, and I'm always the optimist. Yeah. We were 60 last time. With the political environment we live in today and how things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if we push it up around 70 this time, though.
Last time we had a presidential election year, gubernatorial, the whole 9 yards. Thad, Douglas County, 58% turnout on that primary of August of 2020. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm hoping we exceed that 60%. I don't know if we'll quite make it to 70. Skip's pretty optimistic. I hope we do, but I think we'll probably end up more around 60. We'll see. Again,
by the end of the week, you should have your ballot. If it's, say, Tuesday or Wednesday of next week and you still don't got it, call these guys.
Yeah.
They'll take care of you. They are the best at what they do. Skip Moore from Chelan County, Thad Duvall from Douglas County, your respective county auditors. I guess I'll see you on August 6th.
I'll be in the office.
All right. Thad, it's good to see you again, my friend.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
My name's Nick Dirk, and I've been a cinematographer-photographer for over 10 years. I got my start at the Wenatchee Valley Technical Skills Center. Without the Tech Center, I wouldn't have got my first job in media production 3 months after I graduated high school.
My name is Charlie Voris, and I own Vortex Productions. My work has taken me on exciting adventures all around the world, and I got my start at Wenatchee Valley Tech.
Hey, my name is Oli Mingo, and I'm the Executive Director at Heirloom Creatives in Wenatchee. I am so thankful for Wenatchee Valley Tech to be able to have my dream career.
Don't miss the Grant County Fair in Moses Lake, August 13th through the 17th. Leading the entertainment list is Diamond Rio, Thursday, August 15th, with special guest Katie Wade. Friday night is 90s favorite Chingy with special guest DJ Precise. And Wednesday night, two of the best tribute bands in the country, Best of Both Worlds, a Van Halen tribute, and Crazy Train, an Ozzy tribute. VIP tickets are available at gcfairgrounds.com.
Check out ClubCrowCashmere.com for upcoming events and tickets.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Let me throw this out at you real quick. 24 hours ago at this time, Thursday morning, just before 8 o'clock, it was 75 degrees in the Wenatchee Valley. Now it's almost 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday, 24 hours later, and it's 80 degrees in downtown Wenatchee. We're already 5 degrees ahead of the pace that we set yesterday, and we got all the way up to 99 yesterday, so we could actually go even further than our forecast high. If you're just joining us, here's a quick little thing about the heat. Right now, we are under a heat advisory. That's that little orange section that you see, and that includes just a little section of a little bit of the Wenatchee Valley, but not much. That heat advisory becomes an excessive heat warning tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. They may actually make it go a little bit earlier than that. And the hottest day of this incredible heat wave, it looks to be Sunday. Take a look at where you plan on going on Sunday. It doesn't matter. There is no relief in sight from the heat. This high pressure, if anything, is actually getting stronger over the northwest. This heat wave began on July 5th. It's now July 19th, and it's going to go through the early part of next week. This is an unprecedented heat wave, historic heat wave. From the National Weather Service, no relief in sight. What we really need is rain. That ain't going to happen. Right around 100 is the forecast high. As I mentioned before, we're already 5 degrees ahead of yesterday's pace. We could get well past 100 before this day is over. 67 for the overnight low tonight. Then we bump it up a couple more degrees, 104 on Saturday. A little hazy, perhaps on Sunday, because we still have those fires out there, the Pioneer Fire. And hopefully we'll have no new fire starts over the weekend. Knock on wood, with a 108 or 109 degree forecast high on Sunday. One more blast of it on Monday, and then we finally get some relief from this unrelenting heat by Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday is going to feel downright comfortable With a high of only 88. That's it for us. Have a good weekend. Stay cool, and we'll see you Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.